Kia ora, fellow Toastmasters, those that are here in the room and those that are at work or at home. This speech comes from Innovative Planning Level 1, Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. And the speech is titled, Redefining Childhood. When most of us look back on our childhood, we have fond memories. There are days at the beach, climbing trees, and being wholeheartedly fascinated by bugs and insects. The whole world was a marvelous and wondrous place. It still is, but nowadays it has a different perspective. I feel that this generation has different opportunities, and there are obstacles and barriers that prevent our children to having a childhood like ours. A childhood that we cherish so deeply. The world is spinning, and some of us think it's spinning out of control, while others believe it's headed in the right direction. I believe I can spin my child's childhood to stay on its axis and safely orbit the warm sun. But there are some key differences from my childhood to my children's childhood. The first one was COVID. My children have had a few years of this mysterious cloud or ghost hovering over their head. The worst part is it could really make you sick. So for a while, every sneeze, every cough was responded by a state of alarm, worry, and sometimes even panic. And I wonder how this will shape their lives, as their early years had a boogeyman called COVID lurking around every corner. And I have not done my best to show them the wonderful outside world, as I am a bit apprehensive. As a parent, I can have a direct influence over their lives in childhood. So what things have I done to rectify this? I had an epiphany. I told my wife to get a dog. Why? Dogs need to be walked. And so we'll end our sedentary lifestyle. We will shake free the crumbs of our couch potato tendencies and reconnect to the outside world. We will take this scruffy old boy to the park and let him explore the smells and let my children experience a park with all their senses. Another huge obstacle are devices. They are everywhere. It's so easy to use. They have huge advantages if used in moderation, but so much in our community and our culture, devices are embedded. They use TV a lot in schools. You can have all the planning, what you're going to do today. You can have informational videos all on the TV. So there might be minutes, maybe an hour or so of watching TV at school. And not only that, my children's interests and a lot of the interests I hear from being a teacher are that are games on devices or things that they can access on a device. And I didn't have such trouble growing up. We had one device at home called a TV. And on that TV, we really could only watch 5 channels. So it's just not the same. And just think about it now. Devices, it's your clock, your calendar, how you connect with people in various ways. But also, it can be your shop. It can hold all your passions and your interests. And don't forget, there's no cleanup. You're not going to spill anything. You can't spill a device out. So, when you remove devices and you put yourself into situations where you are thinking and doing, because just remember the device, has a kind of zombie-like effect on you where you're just kind of brain dead, just absorbing information. And it can be difficult to get the brain going and the body moving again. So patience is needed to that little engine, your brain, start flicking and firing again. Flickering, that's a kind of combination of those two words. So there are different forces working against what I thought was a wonderful childhood. And it isn't my fault or their faults. It's just the way the world is at the moment. It's the nature of the beast. And this one is a bit trickier to change or adapt, because it is so deeply embedded. In our family, needs to develop some intrinsic motivation to stay off devices. My little ones are slowly forming their personalities and interests, and they, I guess we, need something to hold our attention, something that we can create, and something that we can grow. Sorry, am I boring you? I'm just kidding. My first thought was making little dioramas, just making little miniature worlds, where you can stick a few things together and you can play on that. And you can get some of that rich vocabulary and rich insight to how they view the world themselves. But to do that, where do you access information? Easiest place is online or on a device. You know, bookshops are getting a little bit rarer, and the library isn't as great as it used to be. So I'm looking at some of my friends, because they're also becoming parents, and they're going to have their children have childhoods too. And it just doesn't seem the same. They're having some of the same issues I am. They seem well-intentioned, but man, they seem under the pump. They don't seem to have the opportunity for quality time. I don't know if it's work, their circumstance, or society as a whole, but I do worry a wee bit about their future. So to wrap up my points, this next generation may seem to have it easier in some ways, where everything's just in arm reach or at the edge of our fingertips. It is all available. But there's also like a great fear of knowing what will be around the corner, and they got different types of monsters and beasts to fight, and tough decisions to make.